Okay, you guys, we're going to probably have 3 review videos, and this is the first one. And this is the answers to the homework that was due today that I totally did not make the time to check today. But you know what? If you're consistently doing your homework, that is its own reward, don't you think? So, let's put our thinking cats on and get started. Remember, if you have this done already, you can jot your answers down. You can check them as you go, and you can fast forward through the questions you don't need. And it'll be a lot shorter than whatever time length we end up with, which is usually quite long, because 15 questions is a lot to go through in a short 15 minutes. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We're solving and graphing. I love how it says solve and graph, and then there's no graph. Oh, Hampton. But you know what? We'll do it anyway. Okay, solve and graph. And we are solving an inequality, so we know we use our properties of inequality for that. And that means that we're going to start off by taking negative 5y plus 10 is greater than 5, and we're going to subtract 10 from each side. And you know what? Before I continue, I think it would be a good idea for me to go ahead and move this. Oh, not the whole thing, just this. Can I just get this? Oh, no, I totally can't. Anyway, we'll keep going. So that's negative 5y is greater than negative 5. Then we divide by negative 5. And as soon as I said in my head, or out loud if you talk to yourself while you're doing math, like I have to in a video, I divided by a negative. I have to flip the symbol. A common mistake I've also seen is forgetting that this is just a number divided by itself, and that's 1. So our correct answer is y is less than 1. Let's do a graph. It's going to have an open circle at 1. This is 0, this is 2. It's going to be shaded downward. And to check it, we could plug in 0. Negative 5 times 0 plus 10 is 10, which is greater than 5. And yes, our solution set did work. Now, we've been working on equations with variables on both sides, so hopefully you have a good answer for this one as well. Remember, if you start by eliminating the smaller value of the variable, if you eliminate that smaller value of the variable, that is a much better strategy than eliminating a number first, because then you guys know what to do. Now it's just a 2-step equation. I'm going to add 5 to get the 2m by itself. 2m is equal to 6, and after I divide, m is equal to 3. So that means our solution is J. Now go back and check it. I'll do so in blue. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 is 4, and 3 plus 1 is 4 on the other side. They match? We're right. Moving on. Which table matches the function y equals 12 minus 3x? Well, the first thing that I notice is that 3 of my 4 tables have a 0 in them. So let's start by eliminating any possibilities we can based on the 0, because it's really easy to plug in 0. 12 minus 3 times 0 is 12 minus 0, which is 12. So I plug in a 0, we get a 12. Now that works on 2 of my tables, but it does not work on C. Now I'm going to look for a number that's in common on the other tables. Well, you know, I don't have one that's in common on all 3 tables, but I do have a 1 here and a 1 here, so let's try the number 1 next. Y equals 12 minus 3 times 1. 12 minus 3, because 3 times 1 is 3, is 9. And so when y is 1, and x is 1, y is 9. So both of these tables work for that. So I'm not going to be able to use that number to determine what's going on. How about using the number negative 1? If you notice, the number negative 1 is different for both of my first tables. Y equals 12 minus 3 times negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So 12 minus negative 3 is 12 plus 3 is 15. So far, we have now eliminated B and C. Now at this point, the only other number that I'd have to check for this first table is the number negative 2. Let's go ahead and do that. Y equals 12 minus 3 times negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So 12 minus negative 6, 18. So I now know that all 4 of these points work, so it should be A. But let's check one of the ones on D just in case. Let's plug in the number 8. 12 minus 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. 12 minus 24 would be negative 12. So clearly that is wrong, and D is also not the answer. So that is really a plug and chug question. If you had a graph, you could use slope and y-intercept, and your slope would be negative 3, and your y-intercept would be 12. But with tables, plug and chug is your best method. The size of a television is determined by the length of the diagonal of its screen. What is the size of the television shown? Well, we're dealing with a right triangle here. And if you take this right triangle with the right corner angle here, and we know this length is 28, so is the bottom part. So this is Pythagorean Theorem. Remember that this is on your formula sheet when you are testing. And remember that we are finding one of the three sides, and we have to be judicious here. We can't just plug in numbers randomly. We're finding the hypotenuse. We're finding C. So we're going to plug these numbers in for A and B, and we're going to calculate C. So that means that I have 21 squared, which is 441, and 28 squared, which is 784. And the two together, which is 1225. 1225. Well, that might be a perfect square. Let's find out. Square root, yep. The square root of 1225, square root, is 35. So that is a 35-inch TV set. Which expression shows how to find the surface area of the rectangular prism? So again, this is on our formula sheet. So you want to keep that in mind, and you'll have a paper copy of the formula sheet for testing. So we know that surface area is 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. And that surface area is going to be calculated by plugging in the values 12, 10, and 5. Now if you look, only one of these even shows you that setup. So that's probably your correct answer. What would this one be? That would be the one used to find volume, not surface area. This one is just plain wrong, and I don't know what they're trying to do with D. Not sure where, oh, I see where the 6 came from. They added these three things together. But that's not three of the same thing. L, W, LH, and WH are not the same. What a silly question. Moving on. This is the side view of a three-dimensional model. Which of these three-dimensional models does not have this side view? So I'm assuming when we talk about side view, I'm assuming this is the front view because this direction looks nothing like our image we're seeing there, and I think this is the side view. And I say that because we've got this shape here, we've got this shape here. I'm talking about this shape up that we're dealing with there. And then, oh, not that one. And we've got that same shape there. So G is our correct answer. Does not have that side view. I know we haven't done this in a while, but those 3D figures, you guys really knew how to do that, no problem. All my spatial thinkers. All right, next question. Which pair of angles is supplementary? Now you know one of our tricks for supplementary, didn't want to spell it wrong, is to cross through our S and make it an 8 and think 180. We want the combination that adds up to 180. So 20 and 50, that's 70. That's not even complementary, that's just something random. 30 and 60, that's 90, that's complementary. Come on, 0, there we go. C, 130 plus 40 is 170. Again, that's nothing, really. And D, 80 plus 100 is 180. Man, this was pretty easy, wasn't it? The regular price of a bicycle is $100.95. If the bicycle goes on sale at 30% off the regular price, how much will the bike cost? So you are finding sale price here. Sale price. So you either have to find the discount, and then you have to subtract, or go straight to that sale price. I'm going to use the space at the top of the screen to do this. So if I have $100.95, if I want to find the discount, I'm going to multiply by 0.3. But I want you to be really careful about that because we tend to accidentally then say that's our answer. So instead of that, if I am saving 30%, what percent am I paying? 70%. And that would be the best way to answer that question, in my opinion, because you can do it in one step. So going back to my handy trusty calculator here, we get 70.665 or 70.67, which is J. Okay, if you look at these, I love F. That really cracks me up because we are looking at a situation. Sorry, I didn't mean to randomly write on the screen there. Just getting rid of a notification. If we are dealing with a discount, clearly it's not going to cost more than the original. It's 30% off, so it's not going to cost a measly bit less. So really, you could have used logic here and realized that it's either got to be H or J, and then once you do the math, you're good. 665, which makes it $70.67. All right, this next problem is a plug it in, because it's an evaluate the expression. Find the value is evaluate. And what they're doing here to get us to do it right is they've given us a negative value for x. Notice the parentheses when I start the problem, because x squared means negative 3 times itself. And then negative 3 plus 4 in parentheses. So negative 3 squared is positive 9. Remember, negative 3 times negative 3 is a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. The correct answer for number 9 is B. All right, hauling right along. I don't think this is going to be a long video after all, which is good because I want to be done today. It's Friday and I'm ready to go home. Which statement is true? The probability of an event not likely to occur is 1. The probability of an event equally likely to occur is 1/4. The probability that an event is likely to occur is 0. And the probability that an event is not likely to occur is close to 0. Well, we have a scale for probability that we learned that goes from a 0 to a 1. 0 is not possible, and 1 is definite, meaning yes, it's gonna happen. So clearly that it's not likely can't be a 1 if that's definite. Equally likely would be right in the middle, and that would be 50-50 or 1/2, so it's not G. Is likely to occur couldn't possibly be 0 because that's impossible, so it's got to be J. The probability that an event is not likely to occur is close to 0. Oh, look, it's a stem and leaf plot. You know these. Keep in mind, they usually give you a key for this, but 3 line 4 in this particular stem and leaf plot would read as 34. So in this stem and leaf plot, what's the lowest number on there? This is sort of like your key up here. We want to go to the smallest stem and the smallest leaf. 52. Obviously not a complicated question. We only have 4 more. The graph shows the annual sales for the Gambit Novelty Company since 1975, which is the best prediction for sales in the year 2005. So take a look at the graph and read. Here's 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. So this would be the year 2000. Let's go ahead and label that in. And thousands of dollars, so $0, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, and so on, going up. Which one shows the best prediction for sales in 2005? Well, this would be 2005 right here if we continued our graph out. If we basically just continued our line up as well, it looks like we would be finding a prediction that would be right about at 450. And that's, I think, the best answer for this one. It would be 450. 400 would be a little bit too low. 425 would be a little bit too low. 375 would be quite a bit too low. So I'm going to go with 450. $450,000. Which is true. So we've got to take our scientific notation values and we've got to put them in standard notation. Only one of these can be true. So let's start with 5.4 times 10 to the third power. Let's recall what this means. That's really 5.4 times 1,000. And what I do is I take my decimal point and I move it 1, 2, 3 spaces. It's number of decimal places, that's what that exponent tells us, not number of zeros. So this first one is 5,400 is greater than, and we take 4.5 and move it 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So it's 5,400 is greater than 45,000? Nope, that's not true. Now on the next one, 8.4 times 10 to the negative 8 will be moving this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places back. So we're getting a teeny tiny decimal. Clearly that is not larger than this one with a positive 8, so that can't be true either. This next one, rather than writing it all the way out, let's talk about the concept. We're multiplying by a power of 10 that is a negative power of 10, which means we're getting a number that's much, much smaller than 1. It's not smaller than 0. It's not a negative number. It's just a really teeny tiny number. And since negative 8 is a bigger number than negative 11, think about this, guys. Here's 0. Oop, wrong way. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 8. And there's negative 11. Clearly, negative 11 is less than negative 8. Negative 8 is greater than negative 11. Therefore, C is probably our correct answer. If you look at the last one, it again helps to write it out. 4.2 times 10 to the third is going to be 4,200. And 9.8 times 10 to the third is going to be 9,800. Okay, again, we have a sale price question. Jimmy's Sports Store had a 25% off sale for all their roller skates, which are regularly priced at $59.99. What was the sale price of the roller skates during this time? Again, if I'm saving 25%, I'm paying $75. Your best bet here is to multiply $59.99 by 0.75. You can also multiply $59.99 times 0.25, then take your answer and subtract it from $59.99. Okay, you got to put your answer there and then subtract. So that's 2 steps. If you think about it doing it in 1 step, you won't even need any of that. So $59.99 times 0.75. $44.99, so 44.9925. So the 25 just gets dropped, and it's $44.99, which they have rounded up to $45. Last one, another plug-it-in question. 1 minus x, which is 5, divided by 4 times x, which is 5. So this is 5 divided by 20, and it's 1 minus that. This is one of the biggest reasons why I really dislike this ridiculous, old-fashioned, stupid little symbol. I hate this symbol. Okay, hate's kind of a strong word. I hate mushrooms. I probably shouldn't hate a symbol, but I don't like it. I dislike it. It's not clear. The fraction bar is much clearer what you're supposed to do. So 1 minus, use a writing tool. 1 minus 5/20 is 1/4, which is 0.25. And we get 0.75 is the correct answer. All right, guys. You will see more review videos, probably 2 of them more for next week. If you are consistently watching your review videos and bringing in your work from them, if you're consistently watching them, you're being prepared for the SOL the best you can possibly do. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.